Hi. Sorry for the low lighting. It's gloomy, cloudy weather outside. I can't get it to get any brighter without making myself blind. I've only been awake for about, I don't know, half an hour. And so this video is probably going to go in my autism and mental health playlist for reasons that I will explain. But there's something that neurotypicals just don't understand about, autistic people. And yes, that is ASL, autistic people. I just happen to know that. But it's human nature to like routine. Humans like to go about a day without having to think too hard about every action they make. You drive to work using the same road and everything, all the same streets and turns, and you can listen to the radio and you just automatically know when you see a name, like Smith Street, and you turn on to Buttface Street, and then you turn on to Curly Whirly Street, and then you're at your destination. You just know it. You don't have to think too hard about it. For autistic people, routine is so much more than just knowing things. It's about knowing, that at a certain point in the day you're going to be in this sensory environment, that at a certain point in the day there's going to be this sensory environment. It's about the entire body for us. So I'm going to say this really slow. Disruptions in routine can be traumatic to autistic people, especially if they are constant, because routines are safety for autistic people. So when every single day your sense of safety is completely upheaved and destroyed and thrown to the wind, and then everybody looks at you weird because you're freaking out and you're having a meltdown, you're having a panic attack, you go into a trauma reaction, you're hiding in your room crying, and everybody's like, what's your problem? When that happens, it completely rewires an autistic person's brain into not feeling safe, and everything becomes dangerous. I'm not saying this is every autistic person, but it is my case, and it might be for some other autistic people out there too. But, it's not about not getting to do what we want to do. It's about our entire sensory environment being completely disrupted, and now we're having to process all this extra information that we weren't even prepared to receive. It's like you don't want to eat dinner when you're not hungry. I mean, somebody just gave you a huge piece of like chocolate cheesecake, and then somebody walks in and says, "Hey, I got a huge steak dinner. You want to eat?" And then they look at you funny because you go, "I'm not hungry. I just ate something." And they make you eat it anyway. And what's going to happen? You're going to throw up because your stomach's already full. It's the same thing, but in sensory wise. And the sense of safety is just completely destroyed. You trust this person to know you just ate, and you're telling them, I'm eating this cheesecake, and they still want you to eat their steak. And it's like, you trusted them. You trusted this environment to be safe. You trusted these people to respect your need for routine. And I mean, I get that sometimes things happen and changes are impossible to avoid, and that makes it even harder because when there's someone else in your house that causes these disruptions, with health issues or something, and you got like nurses and stuff coming over, or you got a physical therapist coming over and like changing the environment. Now there's this voice that's not usually there, and you're already tired, and you can't deal with it anymore, and yet everybody gets mad at you for having a reaction rather than just leaving you the hell alone. It's not always the disruption, it's the reaction to my reaction to the disruption. One or two times it's like, okay, shit happens. But then when it's like every single day, things do not go according to a routine. Can you see? And every single day, your sense of routine is disrupted, either in small ways or in huge ways. That sense of safety is no longer there. So it's like, imagine you're driving somewhere to your usual destination, and oh, there's all this construction. You have to take an entirely different route. And then the next day, that route has construction. Now you have to find an entirely new one to get to your destination. And maybe it's really long and convoluted, and it takes like an hour instead of like 15 minutes. Now imagine every single day the route you take to get somewhere is having construction, and you're constantly having to readjust how you go somewhere. You're using brain power that is normally allotted to things like enjoying what's on the radio or talking to the person in the car. But now the radio just pisses you off. The person that's chattering to you is pissing you off. You just can't stand anything. You just want to get to your destination. Nothing more, nothing less. And you got all this crap happening. Just stuff just keeps coming at you. And you're just trying to focus on getting from point A to point B. But you got C, D, E, F, G. The entire alphabet is coming at you. And I don't mean the queer LGBTQIA alphabet. Because we're actually cool and we're not going to like throw more crap at you. But like neurotypical alphabet, they're going to throw their crap at you. Okay? And then they see you getting upset and they're like, what's your problem? And when you explain, they just don't get it. But I hope maybe this helps you get it. We autistic folks, a lot of us, we need routine. Routine is safety. And the upheaval of that can cause trauma. And that's where a lot of my trauma is. And it's not some like wimpy thing where, oh, it didn't go my way and I'm mad about it. It's not about that. It's about not feeling safe anywhere because things keep happening. And I have to keep readjusting my route from point A to point B. And it feels like I'm never going to get there. And when I finally do, I'm all stressed out. And it's just like, and I get there and I'm like this, instead of, hi, it's like, hi, what's up? Because I'm so tired. And then they're like, what do you have an attitude for? It's exhausting. So when an autistic person tells you that a disruption of routine is traumatic, just listen. Just believe them, please. Because I'm so tired of not being listened to. I'm so tired of not being heard. I'm so tired of my needs just not even being respected. Anyway, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Ta-ta, love you.